2013, the driest year on record in California, and the drought is gripping the West right now and having impacts. So joining us now is our business weather expert, Paul Walsh, for some more expertise on this. Paul, how do we really analyze what the impacts or the ripple effects will be across the country with this drought in California?
Well, it's a great question, Mike, and I think it's important to point out the sheer size of the California economy. It's about a $2 trillion a year economy, the largest in the U.S., the 8th largest in the world. So it's a big driver of economic activity. It affects just about every industry source, agriculture, real estate, et cetera, et cetera. And water really is the lifeblood of that economy. So when we see that we're in the size of a drought we're in now, it has implications for all of us, not just in the U.S., but across the world.
What is California doing to address the issues? Is there anything they can do?
Well, really at this point, it becomes an issue of resilience and adaptation. So what we're seeing in California now has all the fingerprints of what we would expect from a changing climate. Increasingly dry conditions, increasingly warm conditions, which obviously has an impact on the economy as we're seeing now. What they're actually doing in California is they're putting together an action plan that really addresses 4 things. Number 1 is recycling, using more of what you've got. Number 2 is conservation, using more of what you've got in a smarter way so you can conserve that information. Number 3 is restoration, restoring their water habitat so they continue to have more. And then the 4th thing is really looking at capacity. How can they keep more of what they've got so that when they have these sort of conditions, they're able to deal with it moving forward?
Paul, are we truly looking at a changing climate in California? Is it going to become more of a desert-like climate like Arizona, or is it too early to tell?
I think if you look at what the climate projections are, and Mike, I've been in this business for 30 years, both as a meteorologist and as a weather risk management type. We look at probabilities and we make decisions based on probabilities, and all of the probabilities, all of the science is pointing to conditions becoming increasingly warm and increasingly dry in California, which is why they're now taking action to become more resilient so that they can deal with the fact that it's likely to be a much different California in 20 or 30 years from now, and they're going to need to change their economy to deal with it.
And knowing how much produce and how much cattle and beef and dairy they produce, it is remarkable that something hasn't been sooner than this. Paul, really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your expertise. You can always catch Paul here on the Weather Channel and follow him on Twitter at Paul E. Walsh.